you cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
Vlog 141. It's Wednesday, and I think it's a great time to talk about your great holidays. You know, where was the compounding effect? If you watch my video for the first time, I'm all about growth, discipline, and structured approach to any segment in my life. I'm 46. I'm at the moment located in Bulgaria. Don't have to be anywhere on this planet, I just want to be here. So let's talk a little bit about holidays. You know, a lot of people who went on holidays with their families to escape reality, the 9 to 5. If you love your 9 to 5 and it gives you the greatest fulfillment on the planet, and of course when you're 65 you look back and you think, I pulled out everything that I had in my veins, in all the cells of my body. My 9 to 5 made me reach my highest potential ever. Then don't keep on watching. But if you think that there is something more and that you don't want to risk to run in the freaking possibility, a high probability of being at 65, of maybe 75, and you look back at your life and you think, uh-oh, I lived my whole life very carefully, really in the boundaries of safety and comfort, watching the television, the latest Netflix series. Well, if you don't want to feel like that, maybe you should keep on watching, because it's time for some reality talk. And my vlogs are always unedited. And by the way, at the moment walking in Knaževo, Sofia, Bulgaria, just for a little walk. I'm not gonna do a run today. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about holiday. Let's evaluate. I don't do holidays. I actually never have been into holidays. All my exes can confirm this. I prefer to live wherever we want to go, because I don't like the hassle and dazzle for a couple of weeks of you know, going somewhere and then I actually start missing the place. Don't like it. Prefer to go over there for 1 year, over there for 2 years. You get the picture. How do I do it at this moment? I do everything from the phone. Thank you for asking. Not this topic for this vlog. The thing is, when you went on a holiday, where was the compounding effect besides creating incredible memories that everybody creates? And it is not to talk down, it's to make you think. I'm saying those things to make you think more, considerate about the little tiny, so-called very tiny pleasures in life. And in the end, do you need pleasures? Or do you need discipline to attract a wealth of pleasures and an abundance of a lot of things, including fulfillment? So, where, you know, when you went on a holiday, what did you do different? Ask yourself, you know, why did you go on a holiday actually, right? And then you should actually ask yourself, only ask yourself, why did I go on a holiday? Let me help you out a little bit. I think I do know how normal people think a little bit. 1, I need a change of environment. Maybe 2, escape reality. They're all subcategories, right? Because of my wife, children, etc., etc., the regular giving third party the bullshit excuse. Why you had to go on a holiday? Why not invest that time into escape your 9 to 5? Why not? Probably you will have another holiday and maybe you will start thinking about, when you so calculated plan your next holiday, instead plan for the next, let's assume you're a 9 to 5 guy. right? You have to go to your master in the week, then start planning in the weekends or at night or in the evening when you're back from your 9 to 5. Start planning between, and you got time enough to the next holiday. What are you gonna do with the next holiday that gives you some sort of compounding positive effect, you know, to your life, for your family, if you got a family, or for yourself, you know, that you can at least give the middle finger. Oh, I'm actually passing by the calisthenic path to your master, because no matter what people say, because I talk with a lot of people, and I, you know, and this one sticks really with me. This person said, yeah, but the job makes me feel very comfortable and happy. Well, those are two words that are actually, you know, prosperity killers, fulfillment killers, and especially on the long run. Again, when you're 65, you're gonna say, well, whew, I worked for more than 30 years at a happy place, and now I am free like a bird and finally touch life, and now I can start growing mentally. And okay, maybe it's too late to do physically. It's never too late, by the way. But yeah, you know, life is pretty much over, right? You know, people like, let's say me, made a lot of mistakes in my life, lived a very colorful life, but I can actually go off the planet every single second without any feeling of regret, or that I missed this opportunity. Could have done a lot of things different, yes, but I learned. Yeah, I could label myself as mental mature, resilient. Lost my freedom a couple of times, lost my home multiple times, multiple countries. So does that mean that everybody should live life like this? No, but you can learn something from it, and that's why I feel the urge to speak like this. So, you know, that you, the watcher of this video, that you don't run into this later on prolonged, and this for maybe decades away, that you're getting this feeling that you live the rest of your life towards your death with regret. I wish I had the balls to get into this venture. I wish I had the balls to say something to this incredibly beautiful woman, but I never had the balls. Or I wish. But the thing is, time is ticking, and no matter what, whatever you do and wherever you do it, eating the pizzas on a nice holiday, just saying in Greece, maybe you eat some extra pizzas, not that you don't do it in your normal life, but you just do it on another location. And again, I'm saying it in the most realistic way possible, without stepping on your sensitive toes, but to make you think, you know, what is the real value of escaping reality? Wouldn't you be, let's say, more proud of yourself and more, you know, confident and everything, that you could say, now, women and children, let's live in whatever? How would that feel? Then, of course, the excuses will stack up. Yeah, but I don't know how. I don't know if I could do this. Yes, of course. But that's the normal people thing. And my vlogs are not for the normal people. They are for people who want to think different, act different, put a little bit discipline into their life, interact with the world, you know, engage with the world, give a little bit compliments here and there. Like I always say, nobody ever went to jail for giving too many compliments. Nobody. If there is somebody in history, then maybe you feel the urge to share it in the comments below. But You know, you open doors. The world is so much more bigger and more how can I say this, you know, very exciting, by the way. And a lot of people ask me about my sleeping pattern. I sleep 5 hours a day, and that includes running, training, working, scheduling, and that's pretty much what I do. Those are the 3 disciplines in my life. I cut every single vice out of my life. That includes smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, watching television. I don't do anything that doesn't have any compounding effect. Everything that I do in my life, every single second, has compounding effect. So let me give you an example. The things that I'm saying over here, since I'm talking with a lot of people, I repeat a lot of stuff, and now I don't have to repeat it. I just upload it, and along the way, up to when I have 100 million followers and people can watch it over and over and listen to my mumbo jumbo. The walk that I'm doing now is in combination with this talk. So because I'm not gonna do a run today, because I'm preparing myself for a 50 kilometer run, because I want to do I want to start running very long, over 100 kilometers. The thing is, until the 31st of August, you know, I was always drinking every single day beer from 4 to 7 at daytime, and still I was busy meeting people and talk with people, but I cut it out because I want to increase more, you know, more yeah, and also a different path, you know. The running, I want to increase it. I'm getting, yeah, obsessed, addicted to it, and I simply want to do the marathon runs. By the way, not that I want to join, you know, a group of people and then run all together. No, I'm not into that, simply because there will be always people who are going to be sick and all that kind of stuff. When I do something, I want to do things on my own term, and also without delay caused by other people. I cannot handle that, you know, and that's why I also, you know, build this life of extremely freedom. It's true, like I said. Oh no, if you watch my vlogs for the first time, you know, I could sit over here for the rest of the month, as long as I got internet and battery on my phone. I don't have laptops. I put everything next level using AI a lot. That's another thing. We're not getting into the work structures. I will make it, by the way, a video about it, but when it's about the work structure, I think I want to charge for it. Thinking about it, because when there's no stake at play, then people don't put in the work. And the things that I'm doing, you know, are so knocked down to the basics that even a 12-year-old can do it. Even a 12-year-old can do it. And it will have you build digital assets that you own. You can actually increase the currency of it, or the value of it, all on your own terms. You can take 50 years to increase the value of it, or you can take 7 days or 30 days. And along the way you build in the disciplines to, you know, because your mind needs to start thinking different and faster. That's another thing, right? If you doing things, compounding, no, repetitive things, like, for example, you go to school, you get trained to listen to an idiot, with all respect. I went to school, I wasn't good at it, and maybe in the beginning, but then, you know, when you were young, you know, everything is not so serious. And then, you know, when I was older, getting older, I couldn't graduate. So at one point I was sitting with very young children in the class. But, you know, when I think about it, there's nothing that stuck with me besides the fact that You get forced to put something in your head. That's one thing. You get forced to put something in your head what's already outdated, totally not relevant. Very great example is the guy from economics class. This guy came in sandals on his bike. Now yeah, that's already a big red flag, right? He's gonna teach you something about business. Not only this, there are I remember this, there were chapters in that book about bookkeeping. Well, first of all, you're not studying to become a bookkeeper unless you want to be a bookkeeper / accountant. But if you don't want to be, let's assume you want to get into business. Let's assume this, and that you study economics and all that bullshit. By the way, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just telling you that there are other ways, right? Because when I started my first business, then you find an accountant. Of course, now I can tell you about how to find the right accountant, because one of my first businesses I started with a couple of people who were not so enthusiastic as me. The thing is, they actually also selected, you know, you have to divide, oh yeah, this accountant. Yeah, the moment that I bought those people out, you know, I changed accountant. Out of the city, different thinking, bigger thinking. Also what I see over here in Sofia, Bulgaria, most accountants, they have very, very, very local thinking, and also, you know, inside the box, more than tiny inside the box, thinking to help you to get the best tax benefits. Yes, they do their best. I understand. You love the guy and he loves you too. You love each other because he gets paid, and you can get paid way much more if you would kick him to the curb. That's life. It's real life. Like I said, like I always say, you know, with the calisthenics thing, you do it or you don't do it. You go to the gym or you do it or you don't do it. Nobody gives a shit. It's the same with cutting out things or people that are not having the best intentions for you. Maybe they have the best intentions, but they don't have the best level of intelligence, intellect to actually put you to the next level, and or, you know, also have the urge to do better for you. A lot of people only go for the fees. Talk a lot about those marketing companies who drag you out of your fees, you know, pay me a retainer. Whether I perform or not, who gives a rat's ass? As long as I get paid, me. That's what something that you don't want. And yeah, now that's the thing a little bit about school, and I think it's always funny, right? I'm gonna give you, this vlog is also pretty Willy Vanilli again, and there's a lot of stuff to think about. People with big egos, and not only with big egos, they never been humbled, but also they are most of the times in a rat race, 9 to 5, going to school. And I think always that is such a beautiful thing, especially when men walk around with the chest to the front, when they have a holiday and, you know, they're everything, and then they have to get back to their master. What is left of your masculinity? Not a lot. And you might think, yeah, but Alan, I take care of my family. Isn't that masculine? Of course. Congratulations. There are a lot of men who run away from that. I do understand that. But the thing is, what if there are more levels to the game? You know, that your son or daughter says, yeah, everybody's looking at you, Papa, because, you know, you're in ridiculous shape, and, you know, you got your things in order. Above the average, because every papa is over there with beer bellies, standing, no discipline, smoking cigarettes. That's all great, but you know, don't you want to be that superhero for your children? Just saying, not trying to look down on anybody, like always, but I'm just trying to make you think. And because you're getting now out of this holiday thing, because, you know, actually over here, at the 15th of September, people go back to school. You know, and this is also funny. And let's talk a little bit about this. Some of the young people, they think, you know, they're into the racism or that kind of stuff. But the thing is, you're the one who's going to school. Checkmate. The thing is, why would you be in the hating game? Because first of all, you're gonna close the doors of opportunities, and the second of all, your hate is probably because not out of patriotism, because then you would approach things a little bit different, but you know, you close the doors of opportunity, and while you're closing all the doors because of your hate, you're probably gonna end up with a 9 to 5 as well. And how are you gonna end your life? As a hateful person, and in the end, people like me, with this color, because and a lot of people hate me for this color, but I'm raised by white people, let's make that clear. My parents, my step-parents, they were probably way much whiter than most people over here. Let me also be clear. But the thing is, you know, you close the doors of opportunity. And again, hate always comes from the bottom feeders. And bottom feeders, they need to express hate. They need to scapegoat. You know, there's somebody I need to hate. Because my life is one big mess. I am just a slave, which I don't like, but I'm not very aware of it. And when I see other people just, you know, I need to hate them, especially foreigners, black people, hate them. Everything what is not white, this, you know, the supreme race, hate it, because I am a slave of society and I need something of somebody to blame upon. Not myself, by the way, because I don't need to put in the disciplines, because I am comfortable over here. But deep inside I feel, you know, that I can do more. But let's keep it to the hate part, it's easier. And you know what? I'm hanging around with friends, they only hate. So why not? See, and I do understand when there's peer pressure, you know, at one point you're so rotten in. But it's not to talk bad about those people, but it's if you're watching this, start thinking a little bit outside the box. And you know what? When you're young and you're already in the hating game, and by the way, when it's also about that, no, we're not getting into this, because then this is all about hate. It's about getting out of this rat race, you know, that you're not focusing on the holiday, but focus on your next move. You know, don't start thinking about, oh yeah, now we live in this house, we got a mortgage, and I'm now talking to the people who have jobs and then get a mortgage, buying a home for themselves. Yeah, but that on my home, when it raises with 50,000 or 100,000, yeah, so you're gonna sell it and live on the street, so you earned, I don't know what, after you put everything back towards the bank, and so you got 70,000 and then you live on the street? I don't know. Doesn't sound like a great plan. Think about it. You know, don't focus. And what the real estate people also say, buy, invest in commercial real estate, right? The thing is, I'm not a real estate guy, but just I'm talking a little bit towards the people who own houses and start focusing on, what if we buy a bigger home? Wouldn't that be a great investment? You know? Okay, if you got a lot of income, you know, quote unquote, semi-passive income, yeah, you can consider to buy something bigger. Or you're also freakishly loaded that it doesn't matter how much you spend on your houses, on your own houses. You know, then it's a great thing to look like this. But I do believe that the majority of people who are watching my vlogs, it's better to map out, to schedule, to structure your next 30 days. Because I think when you come back from your holiday, it hits you in the face, right? You have to go back to school. You have to go back to your master. Oh, how was your holiday? Did you also went to Greece? did you also go to that place? I mentioned Greece because, you know, we're close to Greece and people go to Greece. People ask me, did you go on a holiday? No, I don't. I put in the discipline every single day running, calisthenics. I am obsessed. Disciplines bring me the fulfillment. I enjoy every single second of the day, no matter where it is. I lived in multiple countries, so for me, eating a pizza over the border, you know, doesn't do anything for me, unless I have to meet a guy over there, or, you know, But also when I would have, at the moment I don't have a girlfriend, but if I would have, then I would make sure that there is a reason to go over there, and let's go over there for half a year. Yeah, but darling, you know, I cannot find that kind of women who can just leave. Okay, then you're already honest to yourself again. You need to upgrade yourself, you know. Upgrade yourself. And if you get on board with a woman, yeah, you know, she can also not move. Well, yeah, that is also, and then you quickly very stuck. I understand that part, but let's assume that you would put in the work as a man. I talk towards the man, right? Hey, you're gonna put in all your efforts. You see, you stop watching football, you stop watching any kind of bullshit, and you put in a little bit the effort to look sexy for your spouse. And people talk about their summer buddies, because then in the summer all of a sudden you have to look a little bit, but everybody knows that's not gonna work out. With all the respect, that's why I've uploaded the 13-step 1-minute exercise. Trains your whole body. Just look for it. Maybe no, I'm not gonna pop up because all my videos are unedited and rough and raw and real. At the moment I'm in Knazevo. I don't remember if I already said this, Sofia, but yeah, I did say it. But anyway, I'm just walking around. Like I said, I'm not gonna do a run today. I'm gonna recover, and then tomorrow, for one day I recover, and then tomorrow 15-kilometer run and calisthenics. Today calisthenics, that's for sure, always. But think about it. Start mapping out your next move. And let's say it like this. I don't know what kind of holidays. I'm not into that kind of stuff. The thing is, try to plan something useful for your next holiday. But even if you would go, let's say, to a resort or whatever you need to do, maybe you drink wine in another location and make pictures. Nobody gives a shit, right? Because everybody goes. The people probably around you goes to similar places, so you know you can compare wine pictures, pizza pictures, beach pictures. You drunk a little bit extra beer, just to treat yourself, escape. And again, this is not about talking negative. I'm trying to make you think about the pleasures in life. Are they actually building up towards your regret? And because maybe you think, you know, like I said, even when I was 25, I wasn't like, oh, now I need to go over there on holiday. I in my 20s, I don't. In my 20s, I went maybe one time to a little tiny island in Holland. Yeah, that was in my 20s, I think. But it was also quick, bam, 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 quick. But had to go outside the country. No, in my 20s, no, not even before my 30s. Until I lost everything and was 30, then I left Holland. And now I haven't been back to Holland. Also don't want to go over there. Nothing. There's nothing. But it's also because my step-parents died, so there's nothing for me anymore that would, you know, call me back. Because that's another thing. A lot of people do have families, I understand that. But this is also another thing. And when I look at the great people that I look, not up to, but that I admire, so I'm into running. You know, I'm really amazed by the David Goggins guy, that he did this 200-kilometer run, 200 miles run. I think it was a 200 miles run. That's around 360 kilometers. You know, and I'm really like, that is something that I want. When it's about all the automation that I'm doing, that there's not a lot of people who do it the way I do, especially not only from the phone, with only a few business partners. I'm looking for a video editor. That is something very important, maybe 2 video editors, because I'm shooting so much material. I got tons and tons of material ready to go, but you know, that is very raw and rough material. Some things I also don't upload because, you know, then I start speaking really like a madman, but very real. You know, you live only once. I'm actually thinking where to go. I'm going back down. Yeah, try to map out and structure your next moves and be a little bit more calculated. You know, also implement a few compliments every single day. Good for your self-esteem. Do it. Hey, let's say I see it like this. Most people are very selfish, right? So I'm not saying that you are very selfish, but so let's assume that the majority of people are very selfish, which they are. Me. You know what? Start with 1 compliment a day. Where do I do this, Dalla? No, I don't know. If you go to your work, say something nice over there, give a compliment, genuine, not the way with a fake smile, put in a suit, put your hair to the right side and smile with the most fake intention, and then give a compliment what you don't mean. Try to mean it. Find something, look at some other people and look at them and think, that is nice, well done. You know, try to also be more considerate. You know, a lot of normal people, and especially when you go to, let me think about my words. I went once to the Jumbo, and a lot of normal people come over there. They are so not considerate, and you know, they're very in their own world. And what do I mean with this? Because, okay, so when people are in the middle of a pathway, you don't think about that there are other people walking. That's what I mean. Be a little bit more considerate. You know, they're standing in the middle of the path between all the products, and then you have to ask, can I pass by? I'm always looking around. I'm always engaging with the world. Of course, I'm doing everything a little bit over the top, but simply because I'm obsessed and I want to get better every single day. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm trying to make you think about your own behavior, because when you improve your behavior, your communication, you know, you get more opportunities. There are a lot of people who come to me to give me opportunities, from very weird ones to even jobs and that kind of stuff, because I'm engaged with the world. They ask me, and also they see videos and that kind of stuff, but I'm over there, I'm out there, and I got nothing to hide. And when it's about nothing to hide, well, the box of Pandora is going to open whenever I feel like, because I want to feel with everything without any emotion. I also, when I implement also new things in my life, so this is something to consider when you start mapping out a little bit your new approach to the future. Maybe you implement a discipline. You start with once per day. And let me also tell you this. Okay, me, when I try to implement something new in my life, I'm focusing on it, hyper focusing on it at least for 7 days before I start doing it. So it's more natural. But I also do it like this. In the morning I think about it, at daytime I think about it, and before to bed I'm thinking about it. So I start training my subconscious. The same I did with the whole vlogging thing. I really start focusing on it, that I'm gonna be out there, you know, that I'm sound as natural as possible, not cringy. Now maybe I am sounding, maybe I do sound cringy, but I'm trying to get rid of that then. The thing is, you know, that it sounds more natural. That's why I also chose for this format, you know. When it's about my video formats, I got the vlogs, I got the series, and now I got the Train With Me playlist as well. I got the shorts. And along the way, maybe YouTube algorithm will favor me a good amount of audience. And you can be one of those. If you just now follow me, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Would be nice. Is it really that incredibly motivating for me? Sub. But the main thing is, for me, that I'm feeling so incredibly comfortable in front of the camera that it splatters through the camera, you know, on your device, that you almost can, that you want to touch my finger and you think, yeah, then I can feel it, I can hear what you're saying, and now I start to think, and after I'm thinking, I start doing. You motivate me. Do I want to be a motivating guy? Maybe you can learn something from all my bullshit mistakes. Made a lot, never held back on anything. Gets me to another point, stoicism. I had a thought yesterday. All the people who talk about and preach stoicism understand, great, that it's nice to live in some sort of, that you keep things in boundaries, which I never did. But young people up to 35 and you, let's say under 40, and you always live the normal life, let's say up to 45. I know so many 45 plus people that are so mentally immature, they cannot have a normal conversation without getting stepped on their tiny fizzly toes. The thing is, don't people who actually are very stoic, they live the colorful life, and I live the colorful life, and I'm telling you, live life. Emotion, put in your emotion, put in your heart, but always listen to your gut. When something feels off, it is off. That's why I'm sharing the red flags in my vlogs. Red flags. There are so many red flags, and I'm not getting into the red flags of people. And by the way, when you watched the red flags and you think, yeah, but Alan, a lot of my friends, they have those signs. Well, if they make you feel bad, cut them out like cancer. Kick the rotten apples out of your fruit basket before it starts to pollute your soul, your time on this planet. And I'm saying this, I'm hammering on this always. It's your time on this planet. And assume you got 150 years on this planet, then every single second that you waste on another idiot that makes you feel bad, him or her, kick them to the curb before it gets worse. I talked about this a lot in my vlogs, that a lot of people that I should have kicked to the curb, but I kept them in my life and nothing changed. Nothing. They're only the outcome for you. The consequences of their action is only stacking up in a very negative way. I lost my freedom, I lost people, I lost so much money by keeping the wrong people around. So, who's the idiot? Moi. But now I can just share it with you, and that's why I talk like this, because reality is here. The world will keep on turning, no matter you think it's flat or round, it moves. And it will move with or without you. And it's the same with people. Everything is energy, everything is movement, and everything will move without you. It's the same. You're gonna put in the work today, the disciplines, yes or no. You lay down with your lazy ass on the beach. You know, what is gonna change? Nothing. When things are gonna change is actually when you make change. Your attitude, your disciplines, and actually that will change also your outer world. You will lose a couple of loser friends because they say, no, why would you run every day? You want to be a sprinter or a marathon runner? No, you just want to get better and you want to be healthy, you want to breathe. You want that your brain is functioning better, like I always say, you know, for me, the reason that I'm training is simply because I want to be as snappy as possible, so I can engage with the world on the highest level possible. Tomorrow better, day after better, but you know that I'm staying very clear between the ears. Number one, my brain needs to work hyper every single day a little bit better. my blood. I want that it goes into the fingertips, into my nails, I don't know what. Everywhere where blood can go, this should be, you know, bringing the oxygen over there. So I can vibrate my energy, my mood towards the world. And I make sure that I'm between the ears in the best mental state possible. Stable, accurate, and just disciplined. And the thing is, that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. I had exes, their friends, they start to feel very uncomfortable. Beer bellies and everything, you know, hair growing out of the neck, not grooming themselves. Am I now saying that I'm some kind of Brad Pitt guy? Far from that. But I just optimize what God gave me. Am I a religious guy? No. Do I believe that the universe grants you a little bit of what you actually gave? So you go full throttle, you give 500%, and then you get maybe 5% back. That is so amazingly something to be grateful for that you don't think it's worth it. You know, give everything and don't expect anything in return. You know, they had one saying in this 300 movie. They say, I don't know, totally the opposite. But yeah, but those people were, you know, in the fighting business. We're in not only in the fighting business, pretty violent stuff. By the way, I got nothing against violence when it's about, you know, doing justice and or protect yourself. But that's a whole different topic. But the thing is, well, what I go with is, yeah, do everything with the intent, no, with the attitude of not expecting anything in return. And it's the same with people who get into, let's say, chasing women or chasing men. You know, it's a numbers game. When I put in the work and a so-called date or whatever, I am emotionally in the moment. I put in the work, don't expect anything, not even thinking about the day after the date. I'm just putting in the work with the thought, if this is not gonna work, then not. But maybe she will have something to talk about to her friends. And you know what? Good efforts will always be, and people talk about very bad behavior and extremely good behavior. Not extremely from, oh, I'm so needy, I need to do so my best, you know. No, not from this kind of thing perspective. Just put in the work. Just be in the moment. And put away your phone. I'm actually avoiding people. Just put away your phone, your tablet, and just be in the moment. You're already doing more than the average person. But not only this, if you put a little bit energy to the table and above, let's say, the normal 3-minute guys. Saying this from a guy's perspective because I'm a guy, you know, you're already aces. And because people talk about good efforts, and especially when you don't expect anything in return. You know, I never expect anything in return. So be it. The world will keep on turning. Does that mean that I'm not emotionally attached to anything? That doesn't mean. But the thing is, because my disciplines, my daily disciplines are on such a level that nobody will ever get between this. I had exes, they say, no, you can get better married to the calisthenics part. Even though I do it only 2 hours a day. And that's also something. A lot of people watch the live away 2 hours per day in front of the television. So what do you prefer? But, and just consider those things that I said. What are you gonna do? What is your next move? And make it calculated, make it count. And that it also has compounding effects, you know, for your future, the people that you love. Not that one-time picture on the beach of your well polished nails and, you know, you grab another cold beer because this is the time that you can do it, because you have to go back to your master. Think about it. Really try to think about it, because you don't want to be that 65-year-old guy, you know, that sits in front of his porch maybe, never left the town, never left. Maybe the village, the city, and then wondering what's out there or what could have been. You know, thinking about that one ex that you had. Is it all about going through as many women as possible? No, not at all. But what I always think, there are 7 billion people on the planet. Let's assume, okay, don't get into the gender thing, the really subgender stuff, but let's assume 50% is women. Let's assume that 1% of those women would like you. Well, that's a lot of women. And I know guys who would settle for a woman who made soup for them. And I'm not saying this to me, hey kitty catty, hey, yeah, let's do a little meeting. Hey, oh, you're so sweet. Oh, oh, wow, she's beautiful. Anyway, don't settle too fast. Be careful. Be careful who you keep around, because whether you like it or not, the people that you keep around, they will influence you, your behavior. Really observe people. Do you want to keep that sort of behavior or implement that kind of behavior to your character? For example, I mentioned a couple of vlogs ago about 20-year-olds that talk about, then I visit them. You know, I got a whole age range of people also, you know, that they say, yeah, I'm now tired. Tired of what? You're probably tired of fucking life, because, you know, I knew a couple of guys who they started the business, and then they're self-employed, sitting on their business, scrolling on social media instead of implementing some of the lead collection thing. They're just scrolling away, feeling tired. Of course you're fucking tired. When life tells you actually when something is wrong, if you really start looking at your own behavior in combination with your fucking age, let's say you're the 25-year-old guy, or the guy that I'm talking about, or the guys that I'm talking, guys, you know, there's something wrong with your life. If you're tired of, you know, when I went to school, I was so fed up every time, you know, and not only this, that was, I don't wish that on anybody. The boredom was like, and you have to go, and then the bell rings again, and you have to go inside. You had just, you know, started eating a sandwich or whatever. School, and then you have to open the book at page 50 and repeat what I'm saying. They just brainwash you, and this is gonna make you, that sucks the life out of you. That's why people are tired. And this is something dangerous. When you repeat this kind of behavior, being tired, and let's assume this guy from when he was 22 gonna repeat every single day until he's fucking 45 that he's tired. Well, trust me, that will influence his whole body. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, for decades. When you say for decades I'm tired, trust me, you're gonna look tired. It's the same with 40 plus year old farts. I'm 46, within September, October, within 2.5 months, I'm gonna be 47. Do I look tired? But this is another thing. There are a lot of 40 plus farts, old farts. They would, if I would hang around with those people that talk about how tired they are, they're losing testosterone, you have to do this, you have to do that, and they have all kind of complaints. They think about all the women that they actually should bang. That's another thing. Most of them, they are, you know, married and have children, banged and knocked up the first or the third woman that they ever met in their whole life. And, you know, they thought she was the one, because families, they can get along so nice, and now we're a family, and I actually don't feel so comfortable anymore, and now I feel tired. Of course you're tired, but life requires courage every single day. Courage to go outside and do something that you don't know about what's gonna happen. Surprise, surprise, mofo. That's what you want. You want to have a little bit this stress in a, let's say, in a healthy way. Stress that you put up on yourself because of you putting in the discipline. You know, that's what you want. That keeps you young. That keeps you focused. You know, solve this problem. No, wait a minute. Challenge. Don't talk about problems. Talk about challenges. You know, solve this challenge, solve that challenge. Every day another challenge, bigger challenge, bigger challenge. Because you are challenge solving resilient. You just do it because it's part of your life. And you build a character. Not only this, if you do every day something, you know, calisthenics exercise, the exercise that I'm showing you, and also I'm cutting away all the excuses that come up in your brain, tick, 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 and knock them over like dominoes, bam. So a lot of people can say, yeah, but I don't have the money for the gym. Understand, been there, done that. But I don't have any calisthenics spots access. Been there, done that. Still, I'm showing in the videos how to solve those little tiny challenges. And every rep or exercise, the whole combination of exercises, and the one that has 13 steps, trains your whole body, less than 1 minute, you can do it in front of the television, and you do for the first 7 days now, 1 per day. That is already more than you did ever in your whole life, and you train your whole body. Well, do this till the day you die. And you know what? What if you would live 1 year longer than you were supposed to live? Is that worth it? I'm gonna tell you. The people that went away, you know, they died. You know, some of the people, they were on their dying bed. Not only this, by the way, but you know, when you're on the bed, you know, and then when it's over, when you know that's gonna be over, then you're gonna wish for an extra day, an extra 24 hours. And that's a regret. You know, that's a little bit of regret. What if, you know, if I would have done the 1 minute exercise, or, you know, this exercise, this rep, that I could have this extra 24 hours because my blood went all through my organs and I don't know what. And don't listen to those people who are gonna say, yeah, but Dallan, you can get under a bus. Well, just look left and right. Anyway, besides that, I'm just saying, is that worth it? You know, suffer now, enjoy things later. Not only later, suffer in the morning, enjoy the rest of your day on a high level of energy. And the thing is, what most people, I do understand, they don't see straight away the results. Don't focus on the end result, that you look in the mirror and you got this six-pack, you got this huge testosterone shoulders. Focus on the fact that you, first of all, start working on yourself. Be proud of yourself. Don't you know, celebrate straight away with 2 bottles of whiskeys and a bunch of booger sugar and a lot of things that you shouldn't do. Just enjoy it, be proud of yourself, vibrate it in the world, because if you're proud of yourself, you get a little bit more energy. You can say the woman in the grocery store, or the guy, you know, you have a little bit this energy, you know, this positive energy, because you're proud of yourself and you can give him or her a compliment. That's your outlet of, you know, sharing positivity, sharing the celebration of your accomplishment. And then tomorrow again, every day you reset, every single day. And don't focus on your next holiday. Just focus on where you're gonna live after maybe 2 years. Where you gonna live? Move out of the country. But I like my country. Okay, but let's assume that you go for 3 months somewhere, because now you have to go back to your master and or to your place of business, because your business partner is over there and he expects you to be there. You have to manage those people, the people who are totally not motivated. Call them employees, who have pretty much similar characteristics as you. Another thing, you know, I also visited businesses. All the people have the same attitude. And of course, that is business culture. But you want to have go-getters, right? People who are, whoa, where is it? What the hell is he doing? He goes totally out of his mind about this idea. You know, that's what you want. But at least that's what I want. I want people who are incredibly enthusiastic, and not in a fake way, because that's another thing what I talked about yesterday with a guy. Masks, you can keep them as you can pretend for a very short amount of time, but time reveals everything, and people like me, we're gonna play with you because you know what, we're gonna take you out of balance. I pull you out of your comfort zone, and you will reveal your real character, your real intentions. But you know, everybody who meets me, they can feel straight away that, you know, I'm not the kind of person that you know, willing to listen to all kind of clown stuff and or made up you know, flattering talk, and or, you know, opening sentences that are so scripted that it's like they read up from some kind of script book. No, I'm not into that, because that is so fake. And not only this, and it's not to talk negative, it's about, again, if you are that kind of guy who lives a life by script and needs a script, and or live wearing a mask and a cape, again, you will run into this spot in your life that you think, whew, I wasn't really authentic. And that doesn't feel good. I regret a lot of stuff because my relationships are so shallow that even dropping a glass around them would break a great relationship. Think about it. You know, how in-depth are the people around you? And of course, when you're young, you think that's all that, but put them to the test. I'm gonna make maybe a video about how putting people to the test, and you can test them in less than 5 minutes. Not only with new people, no, not only with, also with existing people, but I'm not only about the first five minutes. Let me also say this: when I meet people, I'm always 30 minutes over. When I meet new people, I'm always 30 minutes before that. And the thing is, what I'm looking at, the way they walk, alone, and because then I see them. Now, first of all, if they're too late, then it's already done deal. But the thing is, when you know, when they walk around depressed and then they come smiling towards me, fake mask, then the conversation will be also short because they're wasting my time. You know, I'm not listening to clowns. If I want to see something that is not real, I would watch a movie, right? With way much more respect than looking at or listening to somebody who's totally fake. Movies, love a good, because I'm addicted to studying the movie scripts, by the way. That's another thing, but we're not getting into this. I'm doing this for, at the moment, I think already more than 5 years. Michael Hart, by the way, I'm following still all his stuff. Anyway, besides that, yeah, protect your life. Don't get to this spot of feeling regret. You know, you don't want this. Put in a little bit to work. Try to focus to get healthier. Take a good look in the mirror. Not only look in the mirror at your beer belly or out of shape ankles. Just saying, I'm into details. And the thing is, am I very judgmental? No, I'm trying to help you out over here, just to that things are a little bit different. And once I put a picture on social media of my calves, you know, they very developed. Not bragging over here, but then a guy sent me also from his calves, totally out of shape, big, but out of shape. There's no definition. The thing is, there is a difference between just big, because when it's all about big, then the beer belly versus a six-pack, well-shaped six-pack, is also bigger. And you understand where I'm going with this. Look at yourself, but also look yourself deep in the eyes. Who did I actually treat not on the highest level possible? And by the way, also think about yourself a little bit. Then you would think, what did I allow from somebody else to treat me in that manner? You know, that manner, that the way that I actually felt very uncomfortable. You know, that sneering joke, that one remark. Why did I let it happen? Do I let it happen again? Put your fist on the table. This is your life. This is your life. And the more, let's say, you better, let's say, also in shape, people respect it. No matter whether they hate you or love you, no matter what. And it always, there is no negative effect to be in shape. Negative outcome. You know, also when I'm gonna say it like this, even when I'm running into a bunch of racist people, they can see at me. No, first of all, I'm not bragging over here, but I lived a very colorful life. There's not a lot of things that brings me out of my, you know, out of my balance anymore. I also don't get emotional attached. I can look a stranger dead in the eye for, I don't know, until whatever, we go bananas and or whatever happens. See, the thing is, a lot of people have something to lose. You know, they're attached. You know, they want to go home at one point. See, and when I would get into collisions with people, I always say, you're the one who started, you're the one who won it. I don't want this, but I go to work, and you just try to release rates or misplaced rates, based upon misplaced judgment, because you're so narrow-sighted. See, and then already the conversation started, and then they already think, yeah, this guy is a little bit out of the ordinary. But you know, that's another thing, and I talk about it a lot. The reason that you also should start considering to implement training, and especially also running, you know, you increase your bone density. You know, your skeleton is harder. And if you put it in calisthenics, you know, all your joints, they're more solid. Your bones, you know, what do you think? A guy who never trains against, now let's say it like this, and my legs, I'm running every day around 7 or 10 kilometers every day. So every day. And the thing is, whose skeleton, or when I kick somebody against his legs, to a guy who's just drunk and never, or maybe he trains once a week, which one do you think goes to the floor? Well, I don't. But anyway, this is not about conducting violence. This is about what are the benefits of start training, you know, to increase your strength. There is no negative effect, and people will respect it somehow, somewhat. And if it's necessary, you can protect yourself. You don't have to call the police. Oh, police, there's a burglar in my house. What am I gonna do? Well, sometimes you have to take action on the spot. There is no time to pick up a phone. Anyway, let's close this vlog, because I have to pee incredibly, and try to map out something for yourself for the next holiday. You know, give the middle finger to your spouse and say, hey, what if? You know, what if I just put a little plan in place that increases our freedom? Think about this. Maybe you should approach your wife or man and you say, what if we can increase our freedom? And we're not attached to our home. We're not attached to the business that we have now, a self-employed business. Totally misunderstood business model. What if, you know, I can just give the middle finger to my boss? What if you tell your spouse, you're a man and your wife, you can tell her, now you don't have to work anymore, and you can tell yourself in the mirror, now I can work less because I automate so much stuff. What if you have more freedom? What if you're more healthier? What if you're healthy and have more freedom so you can enjoy it to the fullest? Would that be nice? I don't know. I'm gonna leave you with this thought. I think I said enough for the past 1 hour and 4 minutes. I'm out. Ciao for now. And yeah, that's it. Ciao for now.